Well, had some lunch, had a long day today. You know, I woke up today and I didn't feel super tired, which is odd because I only had an hour and a half sleep, an hour and 40 minutes sleep yesterday. But I did feel, I felt beat up. Felt like I'd been in a fight. Just running around nonstop all weekend, running from the Meadows to Scioto and then not getting any sleep, getting up, running to the airport. And did you see the thunderstorm? Was it raining when you got up in Scioto?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It was a vicious thunderstorm when I went outside. Got all the way to Philadelphia. It looked like we were going to dodge the rain. I was out in the middle of the track, out in the middle of the race with Crantini, and it poured rain as it started. I mean, a torrential downpour. And soaked. So I had to come in, peel off everything I was wearing, ask the gentleman that was the valet there to... you were just charging it down there, honey.
Is there another iPhone charger?
There should be one here. Somebody's using it. Asked him to wash my stuff, and then I put on my mud gear. Just in time for the sun to come back out now. I've told you guys a few times, Philadelphia, literally the rocks just melt outside the paddock. It's so hot. And luckily staved off a stroke. Austro was a little flat. Now, I did want to give everybody some updates today. So when it came to Austral Hanover, he did scope sick. Had a lot of allergy mucus in there, so we got to work on that. Spitfire Overseas, little filling in his epiglottis, in his palate area. I don't think it was from shutting. The redness was all the way down. So it's not what we would categorize as an entrapment. Just some airway issues going on. So I said to Tim, I said, I think we're just going to send the horse to Megan. That way she can give him some field time, and his next stake is a month from now. Forgo the Arden and just focus on getting him ready for the fourth. And now a first and a third, I believe, in a shorter division type scenario throughout the season will get him into the final. But I want him good. It's one thing to say, oh, he's in the final. Jim Campbell's horse looks like a beast. A couple of the horses looked great yesterday also. Who was the other horse that won? Jim Campbell's horse won our division. And there was another horse won that looked really, really, really good. So you're going to have to be at your best, 105%, to beat those horses. And he's nowhere near that right now. So he just wasn't on the top of his game. We're going to give him some time and focus on the fourth division. But quite frankly, all the stuff for Spitfire Overseas comes up later on, right? This is just the start of the season. So let's get him right now. Get him on firing on all cylinders and moving forward, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Delicious Stone made a break from the rail. Now here's a horse that raced a lot of times in Europe, came to North America, and I don't know what kind of tracks they were in Europe, how big they were, what they were, but I know he raced on a half from the rail yesterday. He had been fighting a little bit of an abscess, a little bit of an issue in his foot, and then lost a shoe yesterday, leaving is what Mark told me. Made a break from the rail. Not the end of the world. I think maybe just got to get him over to Plain Ridge. Maybe Saratoga's not his cup of tea. We get a couple of horses where it's not. It just is how it is. You know, when you're racing on a nice little half-mile track, especially like Mark and Melissa are, it's really cool to have a number of horses that can do well there, but they can't all do well there, and I think that guy for sure is one that maybe we got to look at maybe racing at Plain Ridge, I would imagine, but I'll leave that up to him. An update on Patrick De Pirano. A lot of people say what happened to him. We all were thinking the same thing when we saw him back quite a ways. We were thinking AFib. Now AFib is caused by dehydration and Lasix and heat. All were present at Saratoga yesterday, but all had been present before. Mark did message me the day before and said he just feels a little flat. He's usually sharp and feeling good and flagging his tail, and I just don't see that from him today. There was no AFib detected after the race, but Mark is still, he believes that there's something going on there. So they're going to do some diagnostic testing to make sure he's okay. As I said to him, I said, I'm happy. Do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, I think the takeaway is simple. He's an older horse. It's hot. He's had this issue in the past where he did once for us. You know, you factor in the Lasix. If he was a little bit sick, the heat and everything else, and it's not that shocking that something would happen. I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is if we believe he's a little under the weather, it's my fault. I should have just said, hey, Mark, I should have given him the out. Maybe I missed that cue. I should have just said, hey, just scratch him. He's not 100%. He just seemed to me like He didn't want to scratch because he had the outside post. If you scratch from the outside post on a lot of these smaller tracks, they assign it the next time. Now, had we known he would race this bad, it would have been a moot point. He would have been scratched. And I don't know if I'd like him at Saratoga anyway, right? I like him at Plain Ridge, but I don't know about Saratoga. So, Patrick LeBrun, first and foremost, let's make sure he's 100% okay. Secondly, we can discuss where we're going and what we're doing with him after that. Hopefully his next start's in Plain Ridge. If it's not, and we have a discussion to have, then fine, we will. It's not really the end of the world. Tailgate Buzz was scratched yesterday, had that abscess in his foot, well on its way to being worked out right now. One of the most untimely things you'll see, but it is what it is. And, good job by Tim and the guys to recognize it, take the horse out, and not jeopardize him. Royal Emeralds was flat the other day. Both her and Affection were flat. Both Royal Emeralds did not scope with any mucus or any blood or anything like that, but did seem a little flat, a little blah. So we're going to go ahead and we did blood work on her. It is the long weekend, so it's tough to get a lot of blood work back. We will get the blood work back at some point and have a look at her, see where we have to go from here. But I think first and foremost, for her and Affection especially also, drop them down into the Stallion Series and get them a little class relief, get them sharpened back up. Both these fillies, I think, are Sire Stake fillies, but certainly didn't look like it the other day. Now, yeah, I'll take some of the blame and say, yeah, you got roughed up with Affection. Okay, I did. Roughed up with Affection. I just thought that I told you what I thought after the race, looking at it from my point of view in hindsight, but at the end of the day, she did get roughed up, but I can assure you she's going to bounce back. Where and how she bounces back is the next biggest question. I think the Stallion Series, give her some confidence, is the place to do that. Sedona Hills break the other day. I watched my lovely wife jog her this morning, actually, and I thought she looked fine. A hint of left hind, but she kind of always did. So Amy and I were discussing on the way over here about, and we'll talk about all this in a second, but Stallions, I guess Buckeye or Sire Stakes, and there's an argument to be made of both. One, it's in our backyard, a place that Sedona Hill is very comfortable with, very used to this environment at this track. I guess the flip side of that is coming off a break. Do we want to get her some confidence? There's an argument for both sides. I think the easiest way to break the stalemate is train her on Thursday morning and see how she feels. And I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Horn Player trained amazing this morning with no hobbles on. 1.5 miles, 2.7 was the mile in the jog cart. She's going to race on Friday at the Meadows without hobbles, and I'm excited to race her. I can't wait to see how she does. A number of horses entered into qualify this week. How the Hell is in to go. Winter Bells is in to go. Who else is in tomorrow? Punch the Clock is also in to go. We have a number of horses in to go. And then obviously we have a ton of horses on the move this week. After Tuesday's race, Steel Cowboy will be heading back to Ontario. That did not work out how I thought it would. You know, we talk about, geez, it's good that you can move them around. You got this horse in the right place and that horse in the right place. But once in a while, we step in a bear's trap, and it's not the right place. You know, spent the money to ship Steel Cowboy down there, all the way down there to get beat up. And then my biggest concern is I can't stay to drive him tomorrow, quite possibly, and make my flight. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet with Steel Cowboy. I may have to leave, in which case somebody else will have to drive him. And if that's the case, then that's the case. There's not much I can do about that. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow. We talked about a number of horses that may be up for sale. The first three that come to mind are Stonebridge Acadi, mostly because he can't get a class. Now, there might be a class Friday at the Meadows for him. If that's the case, we're going to race him. But he may possibly be put up for sale also in that time frame. Antilles Hanover, you know, it really didn't sit well with me that he struck at that Vet Tech the other day. You know, I thought we had got past this. I thought we had grown up and moved on from this. And then he struck at somebody. Quite frankly, I don't put up with that stuff. And although I told Jim he's a good horse, he's going to do us some good, he will do somebody some good. And I think he's an okay Stallion Series fair type horse. But the straw that broke the camel's back is most definitely him striking at a Vet Tech. This is the same horse that struck at Morin when we first got him. I'm just not going to put up with that stuff. And that is a big reason that we're talking about selling him right now. And I am open to dialogue. There's a number of horses a number of horses that we can put up for sale right now. But I think the first three are Stonebridge Academy, Antilles Hanover, and Southwind Digit. Digit's a nice little filly. He does her work nice. But what you saw the other day, I think, is what you're going to get for most of the season. She's going to be handy. She can get off the gate good. She can do some good. But eventually, they're going to speed up, and she's going to stay at an even keel, I believe. I could be wrong, and, you get the right class, and you get the right place. She'll get around any size track. I think she is worth some money, but it's probably worth us exploring free agency with Southwind Digit also. So those three horses you very likely could see end up in the sale on the fall 6 days from now. Today's Tuesday, right? Or today's Monday?
Today's Monday.
7 days from now is when you are going to see Chagrin. That's where you got to go. When you're going to see those three horses likely up for sale: Antilles Hanover, Southwind Digit, and Stonebridge Academy. Now, big news this morning, as I said. Today was tryouts. Today was a tryout session for a number of horses to see who's going to be winning the Sire Stakes and who's going to win the Buckeye series moving forward. I said I did start off the day training Horn Player. I thought she trained very, very, very good. Really, really happy with Horn Player and the way she trained. Excited actually to race her on Friday in the Non-Winners 3. I trained Mopower Baby a mile. Just now, I went a mile and a half, and it's very strong, very stressed mile for Horn Player. I wanted to make sure that she was on the up and up. She feels like she is. Mopower Baby's in Wednesday. There's no strain training her a hard mile. I just wanted to train her a little bit. We went a mile and 2:20. Levesque in Action trained, and I said to Jason, I think she tied up a little bit, maybe just a little bit. And I don't think there's any rush to get her qualified because we're just going to focus on the fairs with her for a little bit. Actually, now that I say it out loud, probably another filly that could easily find her way onto the sale board would be Levesque in Action. Nice filly. I don't have any issues with her. I just don't think she's fast enough, quite frankly. And the tie-up stuff, this might have been, what I saw today may have easily been simply residual tie-up, where some of that muscle stiffness is still lingering from last week. I wasn't disappointed, but I can tell you that she's going to be at best a fringe player in the Buckeye, and at most probably a lot of fun. I know Amy loves going to the fairs, so probably could have kept her and went, do you mind if we put her up for sale? Is it something that would bother you? No? So probably what we'll do is those four will likely end up being listed for sale. Although, as I say it out loud, do you think it makes more sense selling Levesque in Action in the Ohio live sale, like in-person sale?
I think you should get a line.
That's a good point, too. But I think by August we should have a line on her, no problem.
Oh, yeah, so until August?
Yeah, it's until August. August 15th, I think, actually.
Well, it depends how many
Addie
races
is sawing
she's
logs
already,
right now.
Depends how many races she's
She's
racing.
such a weird kid. Addie, we just left lunch. We just ate and left lunch.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm doing a video. We've been in the car I've been in the car 13 minutes, and Addie is out cold. Out cold. Anyway, Levesque in Action. I think that shouldn't be a shock to anybody. I mean, I'm your partner on the filly. I like her. I mean, she's not a lovable horse, but she's a useful horse. And I think the usefulness, for the most part, the majority of her usefulness would come at the fairs. And as I said, a very fringe player Amy and I were just talking about Buckeye or Stallion Series for Sedona Hill. Well, I mean, you can't talk about those two, or Buckeye or Sire Stake. You can't talk about those two fillies in the same sentence. So, anyway, so those three trained, and then I got a little busy. We had 5 I wanted to really drop the hammer on today. I wanted to know myself, my own 2 eyes, my 2 hands, who is the Buckeye horse and who is the Sire Stake horse, as we get ready to enter them to race for next week here in Ohio. First up was I'm Fancy Like, and she was very, very, very good. 2 minutes last half, 57 last quarter, and 28. These were all by themselves. I went with every horse this morning. 8 of them we trained. Jason got them all trained first trip, and I was happy. I thought I'd be met with some, hostility towards training them hard, but I'm in Kentucky tomorrow. I am in Buffalo in the afternoon anyway. On Wednesday, back to Northfield at night, and then Scioto Thursday, Friday. Not a lot of time to get a real good gauge on these horses, and you don't want to be training them hard like 4 days out. So today was the perfect day to train them. So we did. I'm Fancy Like, we're lucky. I'm Fancy Like and Venice Blue Chip are both Sire Stake fillies. They look so good on the track. Venice was great the other night, really proud of what she did. And I'm Fancy Like just has completely turned the page from January, a complete 180, and has just turned into this vicious training racehorse, and she looked fantastic today. Irresistible Sun will be our only colt going to the Sire Stakes. Going to give Gypsy Hill a little break. It's tough to, I don't mean break as in the field, I mean we're going to drop him into the Buckeye event. I don't think he's going to get around Northfield Park good enough to be an effective Sire Stake horse. And as I say that out loud, there's at least a chance you're going to see the hobbles applied to him at some point. If we're going to be able to use him in the most useful way, we may have to apply hobbles to this guy at some point. So for right now, really, really impressed with I'm Fancy Like this morning in Irresistible Sun. Trained him in 58-4 by himself. He was very, very good. He's our only trotting colt heading to the Sire Stakes this week. As I said, nothing against Sweeney, who I'll talk about right now, Prince Charmer, and where are we going here? Prince Charmer and Gypsy Hill. I think they're all very, very talented colts, but would benefit in their own way, in different ways, from going the way of the Buckeye first start. I told Joel, my partner and our partner on Sweeney, that we'd probably go Sire Stakes. I went a mile in 2-1 last half in 59 with Sweeney today. He felt good, but in a different way than Irresistible Sun. And if Irresistible Sun was going to be the benchmark this week, then that's what everybody had to measure up to in our barn. Here's what Irresistible Sun just did. Show me what you can do. And when it came to Sweeney, he was really good, but he wasn't that 58 type just yet. And I think it would be unfair to say, hey, can you go 3 seconds faster than you've ever gone in your life for me just to be a Sire Stake horse this week? No. And I agree with Joel, take them along easy, but I don't want to waste money. If I thought that Sweeney would win a Sire Stake next week, then he would be in a Sire Stake. But I think going to the Buckeye makes the most sense with this horse right now, as it does also with Prince Charmer. 2-1 last half, 59, trained very, very, very good. But again, it was really simple. Here's the benchmark. Irresistible Sun, I believe, is a Sire Stake horse this week for sure, as it should be. Week to week, just show me what you can do this week. You tell me what you're up for this week, and I'll tell you where you can race. And when it came to Prince Charmer and Sweeney, I just think they were just Buckeye material this week. And let them grow. Who knows what they'll be in a couple of weeks, but this week heading into the season, I think the Buckeye is a place for all three of those colts, and I absolutely think that Irresistible Sun, I'm Fancy Like, and Purple People Eater are definitely Sire Stake material. Now we'll get to the fillies that trained. Purple People Eater was very strong. Now, when I look at Sedona Hill, Amy and I had a very good conversation about this on the way over to the restaurant, talking about Sedona Hill versus Purple People Eater and why Sedona Hill, this is her home track. She's comfortable here. And you can make an argument and say, well, she made a break at the gate. You don't want to break her confidence and her, you don't want to break her soul right now. Why don't we race her in easier competition? We can do that. Both of us were right, and both of us were wrong. She made a very good argument.
Who's to say it's easier? It's the first one.
That's right. That's also right. You made a good argument that it is in her backyard. She's trained good here. She's qualified good here. 100% correct. My argument was if she's not 100%, we cannot race her at a place that she needs to be. Both arguments are correct. Let's let her settle it. Let's let the stalemate be the training trip. I'm going to train her Thursday. Now I'm going to train her in a crazy speed Thursday, but I am going to let her scoot on the end of it. And then at that point say, this is what she's ready to do today, and this is what she'll likely be ready to do this week. I think she's a Sire Stake filly, but is she a Sire Stake filly this week? Let's let her tell us. And I think that's the easiest way to approach the entire thing when it comes to a Sire Stake versus Stallion Series. So as it sits right here, we have Sedona Hill in limbo until Thursday morning. I'm okay with that. We have I'm Fancy Like and Venice Blue Chip most definitely going to the Sire Stakes. We have Irresistible Sun most definitely going to the Sire Stakes. We have Purple People Eater most definitely, in my mind, going to the Sire Stakes. We are going to race Born to Dance in the Sire Stakes because he's missed the Stallion Series. And actually, this will go to our benefit because he needs the points and the money in the Sire Stakes program to get into a consolation later on. I'm very proud of what this colt's done. There's some killers out there this year in the pacing side. That's fine. We'll follow along, get some points and money in the Sire Stakes, and then likely duck him back down. Maybe even go to a fair with a fair or two with him. He's turned into such a handy horse to drive. Very green, very stupid, but just a nice horse to race and a nice horse to be around. So we have definitely going to the Sire Stakes this week. I'm Fancy Like, Venice Blue Chip, Born to Dance, Irresistible Sun, and Purple People Eater. 5 Sire Stake horses, a 6th one to be determined very soon in when it comes to Sedona Hill. If she trains the way that she's been going all along at Northfield, she'll also be in the Sire Stakes. If I feel she's a little soft or over on the shaft, or any issues going on with her, she'll drop down to the Buckeye, and I think that's the easiest way to put it. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. You are completely up to date now. I wanted to give you guys all the updates. Sintra, as far as it goes, Harry and I were discussing it for the last little while, and one of our clients had sent me a message about it also. I'm going to race him at Grand River's next start in the Preferred 2 or Preferred 3 class. Get him down where we can go back to Mohawk in the horses that raced for less than a blah, blah, blah start. That's what we plan on doing with Sintra. No free lunch, maybe something along the same lines with him. And J.K. Mickey Mantle, Harry said, geez, I looked, all the classes at Mohawk are tough. Even the ones at Georgian that he might fit in. I don't know if he get around as well on a 5/8. I don't really know what to say. I'm going to spend the afternoon looking at the classes and every jurisdiction. No free lunch, J.K. Mickey Mantle. I think Sintra has been rooted out and resolved. But those 2 horses in particular, what's the best place for them? Perlucky, I think we're going to send Perlucky to Minnesota. Chris Lems had mentioned that his cousin would be happy to take the horse there. So Nick Lems, I spoke to him briefly today, might take him down. Ultimately, I think we're going to get him to, I think they close September 10th in Minnesota. They open up September 6th in Hawthorne. So we'll probably have him back out to Mr. Eaton for Hawthorne startup. He'll have Ali Baba, AC Swan out there. He'll have what's that? Dipper. Took a dive off Dipper. Will be out there also. So beginning to move everybody around. This week you can look for an entry from a Greatest Ending in Plainridge, I believe. We'll have Delicious Stone back in. The only issue, a bit of a traveling salesman with Wallop, the Walner that we bought. First he was going to go to Mark Beckwith. He can't. Mark was full up. His wife Melissa threatened to kill him. So he couldn't take Wallop. Went to Megan, but then I sent Spitfire Overseas back to Megan. Now she's full. Now poor Wallop's got to throw his knapsack over his shoulder again. He's going to come to Ohio, I believe, either to race at Northfield with us, Jason and I, or he will go to the Meadows with Tim. The good thing about Wallop is he fits everywhere. That's exactly why we bought him. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I didn't talk about Major Megan, the filly, either. She has a fair in Kentucky, one more fair, then she fits the final. But all those fairs don't count as wins. She has 1 parimutuel victory, but actually shows 5 wins. So I think when she's done in Kentucky, she's going to come to Northfield and race in the condition claiming ranks, or non-winners of 2, or then non-winners of 3, and so on and so forth. So with that, I'm going to let you go. You're all up to date now. I don't think I missed anybody. A couple of people said you missed this horse, you missed that horse. Who was the one horse somebody messaged me about that I missed in my thing? Winter Bells. She's qualifying tomorrow. I don't think I missed her, but they said I missed her. So she's going to qualify tomorrow in Ontario. A lot going on tonight. I got to watch Vaquero Blue Chip finish second. Thought he raced great. I got to watch in with who? I don't think it'll matter. I got to watch Vaquero finish second. Memory and Imagination finish third. Got a little far back with Memory and Imagination, but I know Megan was worried about him getting pacey, and he did look a little pacey going out of there, but finished like a rocket and looked great. And I said, aside from Pickpocket, who's already proven he's a good horse, I think Memory and Imagination is in second in my mind right now, but we'll see. Vaquero Blue Chip was awesome today, also finishing second in 57-4. And up next in just a few minutes will be Lonely Lakewood. Good luck to the Lonely Lakewood crew, and what a mission tonight. We always need luck. We've had a good week, not a fabulous week, but just a really good week. Hopefully we can keep it going from here. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys have had a wonderful July the 3rd, Monday. I'm off to Kentucky tomorrow morning early for the finale at Oak Grove with militant. I'm not driving militant. Yannick Gingras is, but with pickpocket and arson. So, wish us all luck. I wish you guys luck, and I will talk to you all very soon. Have a wonderful day wherever you are.